Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and this week we are in the kitchen at Westside Local, one of the local restaurants at 17th and Summit on Kansas City's West Side. With me is Brandon Strick, the restaurateur of Westside Local. Brandon, thank you for inviting us into your kitchen.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Okay, so this is a unique dining experience in that you are really doing a field to fork concept. Tell us a little bit about Westside Local.
Well, the Westside Local opened in July of 2009.
You're newbies.
We are newbies, and we really are trying to just get the message out there to all of the people in Kansas City that we are offering them fresh food as locally produced as we can possibly source it year-round. And in the springtime, we'll have our own garden. We're going beyond our own garden here. We're actually partnering with some other gardeners that are here in the West Side neighborhood as well, with multiple plots, and we're going to get a lot of produce this whole spring and summer from those local gardens. They won't even have to really put anything in a car to get here. They'll be able to walk it to our door.
We're talking zero carbon footprint
We are.
to make this food happen. So you're going beyond your space and working with others to help make fresh fruits and vegetables happen.
It's really all about offering people a unique environment that they can come and relax and have a good time and experience some food that they might not have ever gotten offered or had the offer at a restaurant to eat. One of our dishes that we're preparing, or the dish we're preparing, is our quinoa dish, and not a lot of people know about that. And
or how to pronounce it.
Or how to pronounce it. It is pronounced quinoa.
Yes.
And
I had my lesson before I came
oh,
here. Yes,
great.
I did.
It's super grain, so you know about that. It's just high in protein, very high in fiber, and it works well as the main protein of the dish, or in pairing it with, like we are today, our salmon.
Right. And lots of vegetables with it, so it's delicious yet at the same time good for you.
Yes.
One of the myths that we are trying to dispel on this show is people think, well, if it's good for you, it might not taste good. And we can do both, which we're going to do.
We should do both.
We should do both. You know, that both is possible, and we have a mini-series feature on In the Kitchen, and it is cooking with kids, and it is for the purpose of addressing child obesity, which is now at about 30%. So it is, but coming to places like Westside Local, where your focus is fabulous flavor combined with nutrition, is very helpful for the direction we need to go as a society. So we thank you for the care that you're taking with this dish. Tell me about your journey here.
I went to school for architecture, which, you know, I think my journey is similar to a lot of people's journey, where you go to school, you start out doing one thing, and you end up somewhere totally different. And I started out in architecture, but I learned a lot at school, just generally about business, organization, all sorts of different things, and I'm still very passionate about architecture, and the space in the building is really what attracted me. But then when you get beyond that, there's just sort of a comfort level that is here, that people feel like this is their home while they're here, and I'm very attracted to that. We are very interested in promoting the arts, architecture, music. We are going to be working with the Maddie Rhodes Center, which is a local charity that helps children.
Long-time local charity.
Yes, and they focus in the arts as well.
Although architecture might, at first blush, seem somewhat removed from what you're doing, it's still an art form as is. As is a restaurant. And one of the things I noticed when I first visited Westside Local is the variety of spaces, because you have the restaurant area, you have the bar area, you have a garden, but you also have outdoor eating space that feels more like community.
That's absolutely what it is, and community is a great way to put it. because you're gonna go out there in the summertime and sit at what we call family style tables. So they're picnic tables, and you're gonna meet your new best friend, someone you didn't know that you wanted to be friends with, and next time you come back, you're gonna see them out on the patio, and you're gonna say, hey, I wanna sit next to them.
And so that's become more and more important as our world has more technology, which in some ways makes us feel separate from each other. To have an environment or a space where we can connect in this way is special as well. Brandon, again, I want to thank you for inviting us into your kitchen. Let's go talk to your executive chef, learn a little bit about her journey and her inspiration, and then we're going to go in the kitchen and cook.
That sounds exciting.
We're continuing our chat at Westside Local before we go into the kitchen and prepare that signature dish. And with me now is their executive chef, Stephanie Dumler. Again, thank you for inviting me into your kitchen. All right, this is a very impressive restaurant with a unique concept. Tell me about your journey to Westside Local.
Well, I started cooking when I was 19. I grew up in Western Kansas, and I started in a German bakery down there and moved up here to go to culinary school. And I went to culinary school at Johnson County Community College.
So many of our really fine chefs in Kansas City.
Such a great program.
It's a great program.
And I graduated there in 2006. And then after I graduated, I took a year of pastry. So I graduated there from 2009. And I did my apprenticeship down at Webster House, which was very fortunate to do.
You know, it was fortunate. We have had Executive Chef Charles DeBlanc, all 6 feet 8 inches of him on our show, and he's actually about to do the next in our series of cooking with kids. And so what a wonderful inspiration for you to work with him.
I was very fortunate.
So you were at Webster House.
I was. And I've done stints at the Cannes Film Festival in Cannes, France.
Seriously?
So I worked at the American Pavilion for 3 years in 2008, 2009, and 2010.
Okay, so now you have to tell us what that was like. I mean, Cannes.
It's fantastic. It's beautiful. Couldn't have asked for a better location. Oh my gosh, you know, we're out cooking on the beach. We're cooking from tents.
How did you come home?
Well, you know,
Kicking and screaming.
when you work that many hours, you're ready
I-
to come home. It's a blessing to be right on the beach, and you just kind of forget how hard you're working and that you're in a foreign place, but you just look outside. It's like it makes it totally worth it.
Inspiration, but we have no illusions about what it's like to be in the kitchen, period. I mean, it's long hours, it's hot, you're on your feet, you're lifting heavy things, and so, did you do pastry when you were in Cannes? Or
No, I
you
didn't. I was executive sous chef in Cannes.
All right, so you've done that, you've had some very impressive experience.
I have.
What drew you to Westside Local?
I loved
They
coming
baked you?
here.
Oh,
No.
no.
I had known a few people that had worked here, and I just always loved this place. I loved going out to the beer garden, and like I heard that there was an opening, so I was like, I gotta go take it.
Good for you. So this is your first executive chef position and a well-earned one. Okay, what is your inspiration in the kitchen every day?
In the kitchen every day is listening to my staff, listening to what's seasonal and local, just dealing with local farmers and knowing what's in season, and that's where I take my inspiration from.
So what is fresh, what is local, and then from there, how do you come up with these creations? I mean, these are exceptional dishes that we're about to make ourselves. So is there a process?
You know, you get so used to being in the kitchen, working with these vegetables and proteins and sauces, like, you know, something that you love, like, you know, the bordelaise sauce on the steak dish. Like, it's a sexy sauce, and you want to.
It is a sexy sauce. I
and
never
you know,
thought
you
of it
want to
that way.
complement
Yeah.
it with good proteins and good vegetables and good starches.
Okay. So it's really the product itself that is your source of inspiration. You've had incredible training. Again, thank you for inviting us into your kitchen. And I think we need to go there now and create that signature dish. What are we going to make?
We're going to make our quinoa. And it's a red quinoa with roasted butternut squash and Brussels sprouts with haricot carrots and dried cherries with shaved Parmesan and crisp arugula.
Oh, and I understand we're also, that's the vegan or vegetarian, and we're going to add a little grilled salmon.
We're gonna add some pan-seared salmon. to it.
Pan-seared salmon to that, so that something for everybody.
You know, and that's really what it is. It's very versatile.
All right, well, we're going to go in the kitchen and do that.
You got it.
And I think you should come with us. Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and we are in the kitchen at Westside Local getting ready to make a signature dish with their executive chef, Stephanie Dumler. Chef, what are we making?
Well, today we're going to be featuring our quinoa.
Yes.
And this is our mise en place for it right here, which is very important to have ready for any home cook doing this at home.
Okay, so tell me, what do we have here?
Right here we have all of our necessities for setting up this quinoa dish right here. Right here we have canola oil,
Yes.
minced garlic and shallots,
Yes.
thyme roasted butternut squash,
So you peel the squash, you dice,
we dice it, and then we season it with salt and pepper, coat it with canola oil, then put fresh thyme sprigs on it, and then we throw it in the oven till it's beautifully roasted and
It
ready.
is that.
We also have blanched haricot carrots, roasted Brussels sprouts, dried cherries. Right here we have white wine, which we'll deglaze with, our cooked quinoa, vegetable stock, and our seasoning, salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper. I'm assuming that's kosher salt and fresh cracked pepper.
Fresh ground.
Let's talk a little bit about the quinoa because not many people are familiar with this grain. Where does it come from?
Quinoa, it derived from South America, and it has been brought up towards, up in the States. We get ours from Bolivia. It is an organic quinoa. We rinse it under cold water in our chinois right here.
Okay, so if you don't have a chinois at home, would just
any fine mesh,
sieve or-
any fine mesh strainer will work.
So you put the raw grain in here, you run it under the water, let it.
Couple minutes,
Yep.
run under cold water to get it rinsed off.
And I've heard of cooks doing that for rice as
Yes.
well. Okay.
Just want to make sure that it's clean and ready to go.
Okay.
And we cook this just like rice in a 2-to-1 ratio of 1 part quinoa to 2 parts water.
And so no stock, you just use water.
Just water.
Do you use any other seasonings when
No, we don't season this
'Cause you want
beforehand.
this- yeah.
Correct.
you want the flavors to be this?
Yes.
All right, so then it's cooked. About how long will that?
12 to 15 minutes.
Oh, so it cooks fairly quickly.
It is, yes.
All right, so it's been cooked. Everything has been roasted, cooked, chopped, and measured.
Ready to
which
go.
dramatically reduces our anxiety levels when we go to cook.
Yes.
Which is why we mise en place. Okay. Now what next, shall
All right, now we're just going to get our burners going.
Firing up Nelly.
Yes. There we go. And I've got 2 skillets on because we're going to be focusing our quinoa with a piece of salmon today.
And obviously the vegetarian version is without, but
Correct.
there we go.
All right.
And I noticed that you're warming the pan.
It's very important to do this first so we can get a nice even cook on both our protein and our quinoa.
Okay.
So we're going to let these warm up a little bit.
If we were at home, what temperature would we be putting?
The medium high, because we want to get a good sear on our salmon, and we want to make sure that you can probably cook the quinoa at a little bit lower, and that's why the fire is a little bit lower
I
than
see.
the salmon.
Okay.
All right, so we've let this warm up a little bit. So now we're going to add in canola oil to both of our skillets.
Okay.
And we're going to let this warm up for a minute.
When do you know that your pan and your oil are ready for the food product?
It's right before it starts to smoke. It will start to shimmer. And you do want a higher heat on your oil when you're cooking the protein so you get a beautiful caramelization on it as opposed to your vegetables. All right, and it's very important to make sure that we season our food. So we did get seasonings on both sides of our salmon.
So again, that's salt and fresh
Salt
cracked
and pepper, yes.
Okay, pretty simple stuff.
All right, and you hear the sizzle of
And
the
I
salmon.
noticed that you put it skin side up
You want presentation side down.
first.
Yes.
Okay. Gorgeous salmon.
And now we're going to start our quinoa.
Okay. So again, into the canola oil,
Yep.
the first thing you put in was
Garlic and
and
shallots.
shallots.
And we're going to give this a quick little saute. And we do remember that we are cooking this with other vegetables. So now we're going to start adding in our others.
This goes fast.
So,
Oh,
yes.
the garlic is
We've got
like
the
heaven.
butternut squash and the haricot carrots. We're adding in Brussels sprouts and our dried cherries. And we're going to give this all a quick cook.
Now again, for those of us who are not chefs, you can use the spatula.
You can always use a spoon.
There you
for
go.
this. Now we're going to deglaze with white wine.
And so what the deglaze does is bring up
Bringing
a
up-
bit
yes.
of flavor.
Yes, yes. And we're also getting a background flavor for this as well.
And
We're
for
gonna
those
let
of you who have some concern about alcohol, that's burning off.
And this
now.
does cook off. And we're going to reduce this till it's nearly dry. And then we're going to add in our pre-cooked quinoa. And give this a quick stir.
Look at those colors. They say color is not only flavor, but it's nutrition. And we certainly have that going in this dish.
And now we're also going to add in our vegetable stock. So we can get this cooked in a little bit further.
Purchase that off the shelf.
Absolutely. We do make ours here.
Of course, as do our fine restaurants, yes.
And now we are just giving this a quick season with salt and pepper.
Now, I noticed that you added the salt and pepper after a little bit.
Yes.
You didn't add it right away, and that's just that next layer of flavor.
Well, we just want to make sure everything's getting seasoned properly. If we season too fast, we may have to re-season again, but you can't take away seasonings. You can only add seasonings.
Okay.
And this, our salmon, we've got a good sear on the bottom, so we're just going to throw this in the oven. Excuse me. There we go with our salmon.
So once you get it's seared, it goes into the oven to finish off. What temperature oven?
We are going to, this is at a 400-degree oven.
Okay.
And just cook it till it's medium rare, depending on how you like it.
Okay.
And we're going to serve ours medium to medium rare.
Okay.
Let this cook. Now we're going to take a taste.
Now, we always remind our listeners and viewers how important that taste is.
Yes.
So you'll always see in every great kitchen a bowl with tasting spoons. And Chef, what do you think? What does it need?
It doesn't need anything.
It doesn't need anything. Okay. But it's perfectly acceptable if it does need a few more things.
You can
So
always
happens
adjust.
This doesn't. Okay, we've just been cooking a signature dish in the kitchen at Westside Local. We know, Chef, that we eat with our eyes first.
Yes.
So, the quinoa, the salmon, how to make this beautiful.
Now, this is a very easy plate. We've got 2 skillets and 1 dish. So we're just going to pull a plate that we pre-warmed because we want to serve our hot food hot. And we're just going to slide.
And we can do that easily enough at home.
Yes, very easy.
Just to warm up your
Yes.
plate.
This is going to go right into the bowl. Make sure we get all of our good stuff. Mound it around.
Okay.
All right. And now we're going to put shaved Parmesan
Okay.
right on top and some crisp arugula.
How did you make your arugula crisp?
We fried it.
Okay. Simple enough. Oh, how beautiful.
All right, now
So
we're gonna
that's the vegetarian version.
Yes.
And you know, we do white plates because that's the cutest for your art.
Yes.
This
Shows up
is
all the
all
other
the art-
colors so
yep.
much better.
Yes. Now, for those who aren't doing a vegetarian dish, how will we add our salmon to this artistry?
And this will just, the salmon that we just cooked,
Yes.
finished off in the oven. Just going to take it off and make sure that we don't have any residual oil. And then place it right on the
Beautiful.
dish.
That is the signature dish from here, Chef. We are going to go to the bar, pair it with something to drink, and then invite our celebrity taster in to taste. Thank you for sharing your artistry with us.
Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and we have just been in the kitchen at Westside Local preparing a signature dish of quinoa, roasted vegetables, and pan-seared salmon. What to drink with this signature dish? To answer that question, we have James Henry, the house manager. James, what should we be drinking?
Well, yes, Bonnie, we have a couple of options for you, depending whether you'd prefer beer or wine. If you'd rather beer, we have the Boulevard Tank 7. This is a Saison-style farmhouse ale. They're traditionally brewed in winter for consumption during warmer months, but I think it's a nice reminder of summer all year long.
Which we're holding on to particularly dear right now.
Fondly, yes. It has some bitter, earthy notes to it, and a really nice, refreshing grapefruit overtones as well.
So you think that that will stand up to the salmon and the quinoa? Is that
Absolutely.
Yes.
This one will go nicely. It'll complement the cheese, and I think it goes with the grain quite well. It blends nicely with the dish, and it has an interesting flavor of its own as well.
Okay, now if we're not a beer drinker and we
Not a beer
prefer
drinker.
wine, what do you suggest?
We have a nice red blend, a sustainably produced hybrid Syrah blend from Lodi, California. Mostly Petite Syrah, a little Syrah and Viognier as well. It's a nice smoky Syrah with a dry finish, and the spicy fruitiness in this will complement the dried cherries in the dish, as well as bringing out the sweetness in the salmon.
You know what? These both sound delicious. We are now going to go and invite a celebrity taster to taste the food and sample the wine and tell us what he thinks. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and we have been in the kitchen at Westside Local preparing a signature dish and pairing it with 2 beverages. To taste this wonderful creation, we have invited a man of taste, Jason Day. Jason, thank you for taking time out from your busy schedule to be our taster. Now, why a man of taste? Well, the man is the co-author of Barbecue Makes Everything Better and the Bacon Explosion, which ended up being a recipe that exploded throughout the United States. You've been on CNN and Good Morning America, and now you're at Westside Local.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to taste everything.
Well, you're welcome, and please tell us the award. You're up for a very prestigious World Award. What's the name of the award?
Yeah, it's from the Gourmand World Cookbook Awards.
Yes.
The book has been nominated Best U.S. Barbecue Book and is a finalist for Best Barbecue Book in the world.
And now you have to go to Paris to...
And we have to go to Paris for an award ceremony.
Okay, well, we're going to have you well nourished before you
All
go.
right.
You get to taste the signature dish and the pairing. And chef, it's amazing. We've been hard at work in the kitchen.
Excellent. I'm excited.
Actually, I watched and she cooked. Chef, please tell us what we're about to taste.
This is our quinoa with pan-seared salmon. In our quinoa, we have roasted Brussels sprouts, butternut squash, dried cherries, haricot verts. We have shaved Parmesan and crisp arugula to go along with that.
Chef, thank you so much for sharing
Thank
your
you.
time and talent with us. Now you have the task of tasting and sipping. You get to have the first bite.
Please
But you
enjoy.
better,
Excellent.
thank you so much, Chef. Hurry up, because I don't know if I can contain myself. Have you ever had quinoa?
I have not. This is a first for me.
Okay, so here we go. Oh, this is that amazing.
It's delicious.
That is amazing. The quinoa has kind of a crunch to it, extremely flavorful.
The butternut squash adds a little bit of sweetness.
I will tell you that Chef roasted all these vegetables first. So the caramelization and color you see on it adds to the flavor. I'm trying to think of how to describe the quinoa. It's probably one of the best grains I've ever eaten.
It's fluffy, got just a tiny bit of crunch from probably the roasting in the pan. Almost a grainy flavor. It's very good, very, very good. Very flavorful. It's a deep, rich flavor.
Now this can be served as a vegetarian dish without the salmon, but you must taste the salmon. And I will tell you, when you have wonderful product, you don't need to do much to make it great.
Exactly.
So it's salt, pepper, oil, and pan-seared. Oh, that is amazing.
It's delicious. It's got a nice crust, caramelized crust across the top. The salt and pepper work very nicely with the quinoa. Oh, it all comes together.
This is great. Now you have another task, Mr. Author, and that is the manager here has suggested 2 beverages. One's a Boulevard Tank beer, and the other's a Petite Syrah. So which would you like to taste first?
I'll go with the beer first.
Okay, you're a guy. All right, to your health.
Thank you very much, and to yours too. That's very good.
That is very good. It has almost a...
It's got the barley
Fragrant,
flavor that
yes.
goes with the quinoa very nicely.
That's why I paired it. That is a very fragrant. That's probably not
Go
the
back
right
and
word.
get a little
no,
extra
we gotta
flavor.
Taste this. I can see why I paired it.
I get it. Delicious.
It's strong enough and earthy enough to go with this.
Absolutely.
Now the other thing that you need to taste is the wine. And you've already put, okay, again to your help.
And to yours.
Entirely different.
Totally different flavor. Much more deeper, richer flavor. It kind of brings out the sweetness of the cherries. I actually noticed that a little bit more. I better take another bite just to see how it affects the food too.
And this is crisp arugula on top of this with some shaved Parmesan. Look how she's taken all the flavors, colors, textures. She's gone from sweet to salty, and she's made it all work. This is chef's creation.
This is delicious. It matches very well with both of these drinks.
So while we're dining together, how did you get an interest in barbecue?
Well, I've grown.
Excuse me, it's very Kansas City, and I think we don't even begin to celebrate it enough, but yes.
But I grew up here in Kansas City, so I've been immersed in barbecue culture my entire life, just eating at all the restaurants, all the different styles. And it's always been a big part of my family as well. We have a big family, and we get together and barbecue, grill in the summer. So it was just something I kind of got hooked on, trying to perfect the process of making perfect barbecue. And it kind of translated into a competition barbecue team.
I see.
Which then translated into writing and publishing articles on our website, which then translated...
Which I might add is the Barbecue Addicts.
Yes, bbqaddicts.com, which then translated into a viral recipe called the Bacon Explosion.
Which exploded.
Yes, just exploded all over national media, which then got us the opportunity to write a cookbook. So it's kind of the style of our blog with the recipes and kind of the tone all wrapped up into a nice little book.
Well, we want to congratulate you for this extraordinary accomplishment.
Thank you very much.
And also to wish you good luck in Paris in March.
Thank you.
And also to thank you. I know your schedule is very hectic for taking time out to recognize another treasure here, and that is the focus of that field to fork, the celebration of what is local. And that is what Westside Local is doing with their food. They're a wonderful resource in our community as well as delicious.
Tastes fresh as can be.
Thank you for taking time to be with us.
Thank you very much.